testing out something new today. We got this system that lets us record both people's. So, yeah. You know what, bro? Actually listening to our intro in headphones, it goes so hard.
Oh, yeah, that should be knocking.
Like, dog, it goes so hard. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Deaf Fresh Show. It is I, Mr. Tone Deaf, and we are coming to you a little bit differently. For 2023, me and my partner, Fresh, immediately to the right, if you happen to, if we actually decided to put this video up, we decided that we're gonna go ahead and do the Deaf Fresh Show the correct justice that it's supposed to do. So when it comes to the episodes now, if you are ever watching us live, it will usually be about music and buffoonery, but we did not want to get rid of the core of what makes us us, and that is motherfucking wrestling.
For sure facts.
So we're going to start doing our wrestling show completely separate from everything else. So there will always be an episode that will be exclusive to the Deaf Fresh YouTube page. And then, the audios will drop every Thursday. Or no, you know what, bro? We're going to start dropping them on Saturday because, we want to make sure that they still stay within the realm of wrestling. This way it gives us the opportunity to be able to talk wrestling, but not really lose the fans who don't really do wrestling like we do. First of all, why are you even listening to us if you don't like wrestling? Because that defeats the whole purpose of being here sometimes. But we get it. We want to make sure that everybody gets a little bit of us because we are so multifaceted. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with the biggest thing in wrestling news right now, the selling of the WWF, of the E.
Right, I'm like, WWF doesn't exist anymore, sir.
It got sold. You know what? Fuck them pandas, though. Okay.
What's your smoke with pandas?
Because the WWF, what is it? The World Wildlife Foundation, whatever.
It's a bunch of dicks.
Was the whole reason why we had to get the F out.
That's true.
So, and their symbol is WWF with a panda right next to it.
Right. The symbols didn't even look alike.
Right. So, but I guess I don't know what it was. It was something that they violated. I guess like the WWF the E had already talked to the F, and they had an agreement of how we can use it. But it was something that they started doing that made them be like, all right, fam, y'all got to chill out. You can't keep doing that. So now we want full rights because you violated the agreement. But you know what? It's cool. It was the end of an era. We ended it right by changing the name. We got the F out. Now we're at the point right now where we may be at the end of another era. For those of you guys who don't know, of course, recently Vincent Kennedy McMahon Sr. No, Jr. Wait a minute. Can he be a junior if his dad and him got different middle names?
No, I don't think that's how it works. I think you have to have identical names.
But I swear to God, anytime they refer to Big Daddy Vince, pause, they always say Vince McMahon Sr. Interesting.
Maybe Vince got a brother we don't know about.
You know what? You might be right.
But why would his brother have the same name as him?
Look, man, George Foreman named all his sons George Foreman.
Why, though?
Because he's special, man. That's why he's never got called to the WWE to participate in anything. We just go get Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson all the time. And Floyd. Floyd showed up. You know what? You must not be that important in boxing if you never show up for a WWE event.
Yo, they called Buster Douglas and never called George Foreman.
Did you hear? Oh, because of the audible that happened.
Yeah, because he knocked Mike Tyson out.
Because Mike Tyson was supposed to debut in the WWE long before he really did. But because Buster knocked him out 2 weeks before, they had to do the switch.
So, now, but it's funny that you say that because last night I got stoned and I was watching like Mike Tyson highlights.
Okay.
So, now I know you're old here, Tone, but I don't know how old you really are.
I'm old, but there's a line where the old people taught me. So, you know, like when the young person hang out with the old dude. Yeah. So when I was a young dude, I hung out with old dudes. But keep going.
So, have you ever seen like the Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas fight?
Yes, I actually watched that with my uncle, so I was actually able to see that.
So the dude that was doing the highlight video, the way he was breaking it down, technically Mike Tyson knocked Buster Douglas out in like the 5th, 6th round.
This is true.
But the referee kind of fudged the count and he let Buster Douglas get up.
Yep.
And I never knew that. Like, I thought Buster Douglas kind of beat Mike's ass, but that's not what happened. Mike beat his ass first.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The only reason why, because you got to remember, nobody had never knocked Mike on his butt. Never. You remember there was a movie starring Damon Wayans. It was Great White Hype.
Hey, don't sleep on that. That's a sleeper movie. That's just funny as hell.
But the whole thing is, it's a parody on that situation. It was a parody. It was a parody on that situation. That's why when Damon Wayans came to the ring, bro had a real dad bod with an extendo beer gut. Because it was because Mike was beating everybody so easily, bro stopped working out. That's the only reason why Douglas was able to get over on him. Speaking of Douglas, shout out to the guys over there at the NWO podcast. Too sweet. But since we're talking about all this nostalgia, let us start with the one and only Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So I was on YouTube the other day, and it wasn't Wrestling with Andy, but it was another dude that's affiliated with him. They did this. No, it was probably Wrestling with Andy. I apologize. It was Wrestling with Andy. They did the history of the WWE. Okay. The good 2, maybe 3 hour documentary that Andy and them did. I say go watch it. If you ain't got nothing else to do, because you can watch it in section, because you know wrestling is in sections. But the old part stuff was what really got me. Do you know that when it was the WWF, when Vincent owned it, he was a 4-way owner and Gorilla Monsoon was one of the dudes?
I didn't know that, but that back in the territory days, that don't sound too far. So everybody had a little piece of something.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Vincent, it was Gorilla Monsoon, and it was 2 other cats I never heard of before. But you know, you always got them office only people. They don't care about the camera. So that's what the 2 dudes was. And what it was there was another dude who really was in charge of the territory. The other 2 dudes didn't want to have nothing to do with it anymore. So they kind of let Vincent buy his way out. So he became 75% owner and Gorilla kept 25 just to keep, you know, Vincent sane, right? Because, you know, like, I'm a wrestler. I do this stuff. So we going to go ahead and do this together. What it was we all know that Vince never wanted to sell it, but Vinny, VKM, he wanted to earn it. So that's why he told him, here, go work the New York circuit. It was already a done deal. So the New York circuit was good. The thing about it was Vincent was already irritating the hell out the network. Out the territories. Because he wasn't following agreements. The only reason why Vincent pulled out from the territories was because he had a champion. I can't remember which one it was. I don't think it was Bruno Sammartino. I think it was the other one that they always talk about. The NWA didn't want to acknowledge them as a champion, even though he won the belt. So Dog gave them a big middle finger and pulled out. And he started running solo. And then Vincent was getting sick. So Vinny stepped up, was like, hey, let me just run it for you, Pops. I got you. That's the only reason why Vincent McMahon, VKM, was able to even run the North because the North was solidified. It was done. The thing about it was VKM took it personal that they did that to his dad, and he purposefully started blitzkrieging everybody. So that's why he snatched up Andre first. That's why Andre is always solidified as that dude for Vince, because he was the first dude who was like, nope, I'm not going to work for nobody else. I'm only going to work over here. And if you want to come over here and get real money, come holler at us at Death Row. And that's how he started snatching people up.
He's getting real money.
You getting real. He's like, you get real money up here in New York. And then Vince started being like, yo, we just gonna go where we want to go. And dudes started popping up in territories where he wasn't even invited. But because he wasn't part of the NWA and the territory agreements, he didn't have to follow their rules. So Dog would show up with Andre and whoever's with him, and go over in like the AWA territory. Now, fans are already coming to see Andre because he's an instant draw. So now he show up on your front door with the biggest name in wrestling on the same day you supposed to be having your biggest show.
You know how I knew Vince was a dick? And I ain't talking about Senior. Talk about Junior.
Yeah, Junior. So,
he went and bought Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Yep.
Just so he could get the time slot that they had.
I'm not mad at him.
That was cool. Like, he bought him out just for the time slot. And then when it didn't work, he sold it back to him for double what he paid for it.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Business-wise, no, that's not bad. That's good business on your end. That's like if I buy something from you and then you need it back or you would like it back, so I sell it back, but I double the price. Like, you came back looking for it. I ain't really need it, so I gave it back. So that's good business. But when the core of like building a community is like, yo, you ain't had to do your mans like that, fam. We all trying to eat, bro.
But that's not your mans. That's the ops. At the end of the day, everybody at this point, because we gotta remember, this is not big mega million billionaire Vince McMahon.
Right. We're not friendly in this era.
Right. This is everybody gets paid $15 an hour, Vince McMahon. All right. So in order for me to get the promotion, you the ops. You already got beef with your company because you run with the NWA, so you guilty by association. Now you also the opposition. I need people to watch my TV so I can get the better paying ads, so I can go ahead and get more money, so I can sign better wrestlers and be able to book bigger venues. So at this current moment in time, my guy, if the only move that I have to make, why is Johnny Curtis still shaking his ass even on Impact? Okay, I'm sorry, people. Decided to tune into Impact today. Dirty Dango.
Dirty Dango.
Dirty Dango.
That's his name in Impact. That's his name, I think. He's Dirty Dango.
Dirty Dango still gyrating on Titantrons. Okay.
All right, not side, but do you think WWE dropped the ball with Fandango?
Yes, but that's a whole nother. You know what? We'll end the show with that conversation because that goes back to what we talked about earlier. What we're going to talk about. All right. So Vincent did his thing, blitzkrieg the whole entire thing. At the end of the day, dude, biggest secret that I did not know. Okay. We would not be tuning in to the biggest event in wrestling history every April if it wasn't for a nigga who plays Super Mario Brothers.
Howard Finkel?
Nope. Captain Lou Albano. So here's the thing. Captain Lou and Cyndi Lauper became friends randomly out and about.
Right. Okay.
Because Captain Lou and Cyndi became so cool, Cyndi Lauper wanted Captain Lou to play her dad in one of her music videos. It's the Girls Want to Have Fun video, right?
Yes.
So when that video came out, and you got to remember that song was huge when it first came out. Hell, people still sing it now. So you know that song huge, right? People was like, who the hell is this dude that played his dad? And they was like, oh, that's a wrestler. That's such and such wrestler. So then people started paying attention to wrestling again. So when everybody started wanting to see Captain Lou Albano and see what wrestling was and tape swapping for dude, Vince McMahon got an idea. He was like, hey, why don't you two do a program together? So they were going to do a segment together, kind of like the way the Big Show and Shaquille O'Neal thing that they kept hinting that never went anywhere. It was going to be something like that. So then they started that, and that's when we got the what was it in Tuesday? The throwdown on Tuesday, or Tuesday in Texas, whatever the hell, that first time when it was Hogan versus Piper, all because of Captain Lou and Cyndi Lauper. That was the precursor. When they seen how big that segment took off, okay, it took off. They turned around and was like, you know what? I got an idea. I've already been thinking about making this big, huge event. I want to go ahead and make it be celebrities are here. Because let's be honest, if you famous, and you famous, all three of y'all famous people come get on my podcast, and then you talk about being on my podcast, people gonna watch us, right?
This is true.
That's usually how it goes. So if you got Cyndi Lauper, who just dropped the biggest song in music right now, where everybody and their mama is listening to, then you got one of the biggest movie stars in Mr. T. Okay? Then
this is also true.
You got Hulk Hogan. He's our champion. I don't think Hogan was, bigger than Jesus yet, but he was damn near close at the time. At least an apostle. Okay.
Yeah, because this is like mid-80s. He not on yet.
He ain't God status yet, but he may be a minion. So we cool. So we know we know at least them three. You got Cyndi Lauper, who's getting bullied by Piper. Greatest heel known to mankind. I don't care what nobody say. Fight me. Okay. He picks the fight with Cyndi Lauper after the Tuesday situation, which causes Hogan to have to step in. Then all of a sudden, you got Mr. T, who jumps in to defend Cyndi. Now we really got a fight here. Piper really wants to whoop Mr. T ass, which we come to find out later on in life that was actually true. He really does want to whoop his ass. Then you throw Captain Lou in it. All of a sudden, Lou gets jumped. That's how Hogan gets pulled into it. Now, Piper got a boy. He go get Orndorff. Boom. Now we got the main event at a wrestling event that everybody wants to see. Why? Because we want to see Piper get his ass whooped because of how much heat he got for messing with Cyndi Lauper. You now have your WrestleMania 1 in the book, and we never look back. Because if you go back and you watch that WrestleMania, minus that main event, and then the Andre match, because Andre
card is garbage. Yo, early wrestling is really, really garbage.
Trash.
Like it's something about going to watch. Like I can only watch wrestling. I bullshit you not, bro. From 88 on up.
You're not wrong.
Anything before 88, is garbage. It's poop.
Anything pre-Royal Rumble is trash, fam.
Doo-doo butter, fam. I feel like, oh my God, I'm so glad I was born when I was born. Because I'm like, bro, if I'd had to sit through this in 85, it's so dark in here.
Dog, I hate Dirty Dango, bro. I hate him with a passion. My guy just did a hip gyration, people's leg drop.
Hey man, everybody still something.
And he lost weight. But outside of how we got here with Vince McMahon, what if they went on ahead? Not what if. We already know that they're going to make a Vince McMahon bio, right?
This is true.
We already know that. At this point in time, bro, after watching that whole entire documentary, I come to the conclusion it has to be a series. You can't do Vince McMahon's whole life in one movie because you're gonna leave out so much. So we need a series, okay?
Well, it depends on the angle in which you want to tell his life from.
And that's what's gonna be my question. What would be the key thing that you would have to focus on in the Vince McMahon story?
If I personally was doing the Vince McMahon documentary, as much as like people try to hide like all the bad stuff that went on with Vince McMahon, that's the angle I would tell it from.
Right.
Because everybody highlights the good of Vince McMahon. Like everybody highlights this $1 billion entity and how he took the WWE from this mom and pop organization and turned that shit into a $1 billion company. Like we know that, but like let's dive into Vince's personal life. Like, how did this affect the relationship between you and Linda? Like,
and
do
that
we
is
even know if Linda wanted to be a part of the business?
That's why I said it can't be a movie. It needs to be a series. You know what? If we take Young Rock is a prime example. If we take Young Rock, but instead of all the goofy antics and stuff like that, you can break up the Vince McMahon story like that. You don't have to do it where like Vince does young Vince, young Rock, middle-aged Rock, and then wrestling Rock. You can do it in one straight line. I say throw it on HBO so we can get real. Because when we get to the cocaine years, bro, I don't want none of that censored.
Man, because I know niggas was going crazy in the cocaine era.
Like, because I feel like this, if anybody is going to tell the story about what happens behind the scenes, because they always talk about wrestlers pulling back the curtains, right? Who's going to complain about Vince McMahon pulling back the curtains?
On Vince McMahon.
Exactly. Because if Vince is telling the story, it's got to be true. You can't lie, man. What is there to lie for? Vince McMahon has always been somebody who knows how to see a dollar, okay? He does what's best for business. And if Vince McMahon is selling the company, while he owns the company, talking about what goes on behind the scenes, it's not good for business. But if you don't own the company no more, you can tell everything.
Right, because people like to act like wrestling is a very filthy industry.
Very filthy. Because I definitely want to know what happened behind the stage, behind the scenes when it came to the Elizabeth Macho Man Hogan situation. Because Macho Man took the hate for Hogan to the grave with him. So Hogan did something.
Well, it's typical. Like when you look at Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, it was typical nigga shit.
Yeah, but we got to know.
Mach felt like Hogan wanted to fuck his girl. And he was absolutely right. No matter how much Hogan was like, nah, I wasn't like that. No, bro, it was definitely like that. If Liz would have threw it off the backboard, Hulk Hogan would have 360 dunked that motherfucker.
But the thing about it is, it's deeper than rap with that, bro. Because there was times Macho Man came to Hogan's room looking for Elizabeth, and even though Liz wasn't with Hogan, he knew who Liz was with. Macho has even said to that point in time, Elizabeth got into drugs after they started working with Hogan on that program. So I'm not saying Hogan is the one that, hey, here's some good stuff.
But at the same time, when you look at it as a whole, just from all the stories we've heard, is like, is it really Hogan's fault?
It may not be Hogan's fault, but at the time, bro.
But hear me out. It could be one of those situations where it's like, me and you, if you see how I'm treating my girlfriend or my wife, you be like, that's not my business, but like I see like why I be going crazy over the smallest thing. And then like if my girl wants to hang out with your girl and then like it start happening, but she'll start looking funny in the light. Of course, I'm gonna be like, well, Tone, you knew what the fuck was going on. You knew what my bitch and your bitch was doing.
Yes,
and then you knew while she was with your chick, she was sneaking off to be with another dude. You knew these things. So, of course, I'm mad at you because I feel like you helped.
You did.
They're right. So, Hogan might have just been like, hey, look, this nigga's crazy. I know some good niggas if you looking for a nigga.
But that don't mean I can't have smoke with you because you helped this out.
You know what? If you really like, Macho Man really owe Hogan his entire career. So, like,
you know what? I can't say that. I can't say that.
You can't?
I can't say that because Macho, because that same documentary, Macho was actually on the rise on his own. Macho was making moves on his own. A lot of
Macho Man would be nothing without Hulk Hogan.
No, I won't say that because Macho Man was having classic matches and great moments before Hogan even came in, before he even got anywhere near Hogan. Because if you look at Macho just in the WWE, we're not even going to talk about before he even got here.
All right.
From Macho's run all the way up to WrestleMania 5, Macho was still making noise because Macho was making so much noise that Vince put the belt on him on WrestleMania 4. And
Tom,
hold on.
Who was there though? Who was there?
Hold on. I'm getting to that dude. I'm getting to Michael Jordan. Okay.
All right, because like we're not gonna talk about Mike. Like we're not gonna talk about dog. Like he didn't help this man.
I'm not. Michael Jordan's there. I'm gonna get to him. Don't get me wrong. And not the actual Michael Jordan. People talking about Hogan. But you got to remember, even at WrestleMania 3, him and Steamboat had the greatest match of the decade.
Who was the main event though?
See, that's the part you keep forgetting. I'm gonna get there.
I just want you telling me Macho.
What I'm saying is, for a wrestler, Macho would have been great without Hogan. Hogan brought the entertainment side of it, which is what had people looking at wrestling. So I will never take away from Hogan because let's be honest, Hogan Andre is the only reason why anybody gave a care about WrestleMania 3. But Macho and Steamboat stole the show. Got to give credit what credit due.
I'm not taking away the show. I'm not taking away you stealing the show, but what I'm telling you is if I'm not in the main event, you niggas have no show to steal.
I don't know about that. See, that's the thing. Hogan was always positioned to be the dude because that's who Vince wanted to do. I feel like what happened was Hogan didn't leave when he was supposed to. So when Hogan didn't leave when he was supposed to, and then constantly kept coming back, he pulled a Jordan where a lot of niggas didn't get a chance to eat like they were supposed to. Because WrestleMania 6 was supposed to be Hogan's bow out. That was supposed to be his swan song. He was supposed to be gone. They was gonna strap the rocket on the back of Ultimate Warrior. Then Macho came in. He would have been, hey, this dude is not working. Let's go throw it on a heel, which is what got put on Slaughter. And then that was supposed to be Macho's moment to come back. I think Macho got hurt at that time in real life.
All right. See, you really finna make me defend Hulk Hogan. And I don't really want to do that, Tone, but you're really going to make me do that. Why would you want me to do that?
It's a wrestling show, bro. Controversy.
All right. So let's look at this from a business standpoint because you are a businessman. So you like to look at everything logically.
I do.
Now, if I am the top earner here, I eventually need people to be on my level, right?
I get that.
So how do we get people on my level? Sometimes you got to stand next to them so people start looking at you in the same light. Correct?
I give you that.
Now, the biggest draw was here. He finna go after WrestleMania 3. Andre is sliding down the card because this was the anointing of Hulk Hogan. Even though he beat the Iron Sheik like 6 years before this, was the
Sheik wasn't as big as Andre though. That's
that I feel you. That's why I'm saying like even though he had already beat Sheik and won the title, this was the passing of the torch.
Right.
So now that we've passed the torch because Andre can't really do it like that no more, he finna slide down the card and be gone. So me as Hulk Hogan, I'm the biggest shit walking. I'm going to need more people to work with.
Okay. Still with
now. Granted, they could have just threw Macho in there as a heel, but the storytelling of, well, if he's a good guy and then he turns back heel, everybody's gonna love Hulk Hogan one more time. So that's what we had to do. Because like when you really look at Macho Man's WWE title run, not all of the major pay-per-views, all of the major pay-per-views they were doing back then, tag matches. Outside of the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble was the Royal Rumble, but like Hacksaw won the one in 88. Nobody cares about that one. But His only solo match was when he won the belt from DiBiase at WrestleMania. But Survivor Series, SummerSlam, all of this shit is tag matches. And guess who he tagging with? The biggest nigga in the company. He tagging with Hulk Hogan.
But here's my thing with the Hulk Hogan situation. Okay, and I get you. Hogan overstayed his welcome too many times. Too many times. Okay. Therefore,
I give you the fact that Hogan overstayed his welcome, but when they had a chance to kick Hulk Hogan out, the nigga that they gave the ball to, as much as we probably loved him as kids, he just wasn't it.
He wasn't. No, he self-sabotaged. That's why I love the fact that the name of the DVD was the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. Now, don't get me wrong, though, people.
Okay? No, they shitted on Dog. On
they
killed him.
They killed him.
They killed him.
But at the same time, though, he actually killed his own career because you don't hold the belt hostage 20 minutes before you go into a match, Doug. You don't do that. You don't do that. We put the company on your back and you do this. That's terrible.
So again, from a business standpoint, if you give somebody else the ball, like Juan, I appreciate all that you have done for TDR, but I want to go in a different direction. And we had this conversation, and I respectfully be like, you know what, Tom? I get it. It's time for me to start a new business venture. Anyway, I'm going to respectfully bow out for you because you my dog. 6 months into you trying to hand somebody else the ball, you like, you know what, fam? These numbers ain't coming back the way I thought they was. It's just not working. Let me get Juan on the phone and see if he's available.
But here's the thing, though, dog. I give you that, okay?
So how can a nigga overstay his welcome when every time we try to kick you out, the niggas that we try to replace you with are terrible?
I'm gonna give you 3 incidences. 3 incidents. Okay, number 1, when they realized that they couldn't keep Dog because that celestial star stuff he was talking, we think he actually really believed this crap, and we can't keep this here. So they put it on Slaughter. Okay, now Slaughter, let's be honest, bro. He's a retired G.I. Joe character at that point. So the fact that Dog took that belt, that's back office stuff. Okay, that's back office saying, "Hey, bro, we need somebody with a belt." Then they made him a Middle Eastern sympathizer. At that point in time,
that's better than the idea that they originally was gonna go with.
We understand that, but here's where I'm going with that. No matter what, that time Slaughter had the biggest heat. I don't even think nobody has ever had more heat than Slaughter did. Maybe, nah, it was bigger than her. What was the chick that came in on the Diva search and she never ever Eva Marie? Eva Marie is probably the closest person to ever have as much heat as Slaughter had as a Middle Eastern sympathizer. That at this point in time, Vince McMahon could have took any of his faces, any of them, and be able to create your new top guy. You could have easily slid Macho in there. You could have turned Perfect face. Hell, who else was there? You could have put anybody. Fuck it, you could have gave it to Hacksaw. Even though that's not what we want, but at the point,
we are not putting the belt on Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
I'm just saying that's not what we want. But what I'm saying is the table was laid out that you could have created your next new big star. But instead, you know what happened? Hogan picked up the phone, says, "Hey, Vince, I ain't filming no movies right now. You need me, bruh?"
Okay, so let's Tom, since let's go down this rabbit hole real quick then. So let's look at the top guys from 88 to 91 who was there. Baby faces.
I'm waiting for you to give me some.
Because I was asking you, because we got Hogan, we got Warrior. I mean, Macho Man, he works better as a heel, but Macho Man.
You can go both ways. Pause.
But we didn't love. I'm keep it all the way funky. We did not love Macho Man. He didn't get the credit as a babyface that he should have got until WrestleMania 7.
Okay.
When he split with Sherry beat him up, and then Miss Elizabeth. That love story, like that love story, is what made us appreciate the Macho Man as a babyface. Anything before that, we wasn't fucking with that.
All right. So, just for the sake of argument, because we got to move on to another topic real quick. One thing I can say though is that Macho Hogan situation, believe it or not, in wrestling, that's been an ongoing situation. You've always had who the company picks and who the fan picks.
You want a sandwich?
I don't want a sandwich. I already had a chicken
It's
parmesan.
called a catfish dinner.
But
Right, because when she asked me that, she was like sandwich or fillets. I thought you wanted the fillets. You didn't say sandwich. You said catfish dinner.
catfish dinner is catfish dinner, baby.
That's what I was thinking.
But so we talk enough about the past. Let's move to the future.
You don't know what to say, but you weren't clear with what.
When have you ever seen me get catfish fillets unless it's JJ?
Okay, Jazz. Again, like when I said, when have you ever seen me eat something? It's not about what I see. It's about you weren't clear with what you needed. You said, Mark, order me a fish. You said, order me a catfish dinner. Now, had you said, order me a fish box, I would have knew that you wanted a sandwich because that's how you asked for a fish sandwich.
Okay, like I told Noah earlier today, just turn the common sense up just a little bit. Not all the way, just a little bit. Because even when I order fryers, I get a sandwich. Everywhere.
All right, so if we need to turn the common sense up, you should turn up your clarity, and then everybody's even.
Turn up common sense and clarity. What is this, a TV?
How does that not how it works?
Order something.
So you want me to turn my but what I'm saying, like I'm trying to do a pie.
She don't care about it's Jazz. Jazz don't care about us.
Right,
I'm in the closet.
right, like you come in.
Anyway, we'll get back. Kenny King is about to have what can only be dubbed as an MMA fight in the middle of an impact ring with no ropes.
I really hate this family.
But so let's go ahead and let's just do our quick shoots. Currently, right now, what is your favorite storyline going on in wrestling?
Right now, hands down, is probably the Bloodline. It's my favorite storyline on TV.
All right, my favorite storyline right now, hands down, is Judgment Day. It took a minute to get here.
That's second favorite. Prison Damo be cracking.
And here's the reason why it's my favorite storyline. So, for those guys who don't know, probably back when WWE 2K dropped this year, I said to the crew, I'm going to go ahead and do the universe mode with Dominic because everybody was hating him when he was running with Ray. When I
we still hate him because his wrestling abilities still suck, but he's a better character.
Hogan made it through his whole entire career with 6 moves. Okay, 6 moves.
Hey, if you telling me that Damo Mysterio gonna be big as Jesus,
I didn't say he was gonna be big as Jesus.
That's how Hogan got away with them 6 moves
because he had charisma out this world. La Raza Damo might actually be able because you gotta remember though what's making Dom's storyline so interesting. It's not only in wrestling. That's the thing. His storyline spills over to social media. Every holiday he tries to come home and something always happens. That's how he got arrested. He didn't get arrested on wrestling. He got arrested at home. And then everybody keeps doing these Instagram posts or these tweets, like MVP's whole entire post about the fact that he was sitting next to a cat who was telling him about a hard time in jail and how family matters and all this stuff.
No, when I realized it was Dom, I was
crying. You can't ask for nothing better. This is Dominic Mysterio. Dominic. Dude's storyline is for the younger generation. This is how you get those young impressionable tweens who hate life and listen to sad music into wrestling. Characters like his. That's how you get those wrestlers in. And that's why I love his story. The Bloodline story is good, but it's getting stale to me because one person is carrying that storyline. But Dominic's storyline, it's everybody involved in the Judgment Day makes his story work. The fact that Finn and Priest really makes it feel like Dog is that dude. And let's not sit here and act like Rhea Ripley isn't really the leader of that group.
So okay, so if you want to be honest about the Judgment Day, like without them doing this with Dominic, the Judgment Day was dead in the motherfucking water.
That's why I like it, because you got to remember when Edge left them, we didn't know what the hell was going on with the Judgment Day. We didn't know what no purpose was. They may have went differently, because you remember Rhea was damn near in the title picture and she got injured.
I mean, it also helps when Triple H kind of likes you.
True, because it's always good to be, friends with the boss. That's why every job I get, I find out who management is and I be cool with them.
Facts. But the reason why I enjoyed this Bloodline story is because like I was chilling and I was like, I had an epiphany of like this storyline really started like on a complete accident. And I don't think people pay attention to that.
How? For those who don't know.
Sami Zayn really was only like trying to kick it with Roman so Brock wouldn't hurt him no more.
That is true.
So when you think about how all this started, like he was trying to get these meetings with Roman because like he was supposed to be number one contender, and like Brock kept beating him up, and like he just kept trying to get these meetings with Roman, and then it slowly turned into the honorary Uso. It was like, yo, and like when you look at it, it gave me like that Rock Hurricane vibe, like how Rock was only supposed, like Rock says, he was only supposed to do that one segment with Hurricane. But it got over so well with the crowd and people backstage, like that shit turned into like a month thing, and then Hurricane got a match and he got to beat the Rock.
I mean, that's always a great thing. Rock is always a good dude at the end of the day.
So like this is tight. Now, what I will say I won't like about the storyline is if they do all of this work, all this character work with Sami, just to let the Rock come back, and now it's like, well, all of this with Sami was for nothing.
I think that the Sami storyline is probably going to go on a pause, like the worry and the dissension. I think that's going to go on a pause until after WrestleMania, or his is going to spin off into its own thing into WrestleMania. So that way, everybody in the bloodline is going to have something. I still think that Solo is going to be the one that breaks up the bloodline, not Sami.
Why do people think it's going to be Solo? Like, and I don't want to hear that, well, he wasn't talking to them for so many years. Who cares?
No, I don't even care about that. I don't care about that. Solo initially became part of the bloodline, even though we know that that's that little legitimately his brother. He got the way the story is written, he was sent there by the higher ups in the family. So the higher ups told you, hey, go keep an eye on your brother and your cousin. Go make sure your family is good. Now Roman's been talking cash shit lately. Like 2-3 years running around with the belt, talking cash shit. Then got too big-headed. I think Solo is the one who's really been reporting back to the higher ups, which is going to make The Rock have to come in to get bro back in his place.
Honestly, I really could go.
It could go any way.
I don't want to see The Rock. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I agree.
Really I don't. Stay home, bro.
I agree with you, but who do you give Roman? I would love for it to be Cody. Don't get me wrong, Cody. But I feel like the Cody situation, if he gets the belt now, what kind of
everything I've said about Cody since he came back will be true to y'all.
I'm not saying Cody don't need to get the belt, but you can split it up. The Rock match doesn't even have to be for the belt. You could literally have Cody Roman night 1.
So
and Rock Roman night 2.
Here's what I think will happen, because WWE likes to make up these fictitious stats that nobody cares about.
Like the one about Cena only wrestling at least once for the last 20 years every year.
Fictitious stat that nobody even thought of. Like, bro, who paying attention to that?
Hey, we hold on now. Those fictitious stats that nobody paid attention to got us the streak.
So here's what I think they'll do with Roman. I feel like if I'm booking this, Roman's dropping both belts WrestleMania night or on WrestleMania.
Night 1, night 2, or
now WrestleMania is a 2-night event, right?
Right.
So Roman has been champion for 2.5 years almost.
Yep.
Coming up on that. So that's a stat in itself. Like, he now is in rare air with like Bruno Sammartino or Hulk Hogan. Like, so now you top 5 just on that list.
Right. And that's not a hard list to get on. Not this day and age.
Here's the fictitious stat. Who has headlined both nights of WrestleMania? Nobody's done that yet. Why can't Roman do it?
Because you got to give one of the nights to the women.
They're not going to headline nothing.
You know what? You're right, because there's no storyline.
Right, there's no story compelling enough for the women to main event WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, they don't get this year.
Now, when Becky and Charlotte and Ronda did it, cool. When Bianca and Sasha main evented night 1, cool. That story was big enough. It was compelling for a main event of the night.
Yeah, no, I don't think the women got it this year.
Now, this year, Cody wins the Royal Rumble, Universal title, whatever title you want to challenge for. Boom, that's the main event of night 1. And if Sami Zayn and KO don't win tag titles, then night 2 needs to be a triple threat with KO, Sami, and Roman for whatever the belt is that's left. Then Roman needs the main event both nights of WrestleMania because that is a fictitious stat that people will love.
After the Rumble, so we have a surefire, we know who won. We have to have that conversation of how we book the double night because we got to figure out how we get there.
Okay, I would like, it would be a big swerve. Like, everybody think Cody gonna win the Royal Rumble. Everybody booking this because he's announced that he's coming back. What if Sami wins the Royal Rumble?
I'm here for it.
So now you have a conundrum of like, I already think you shifty. You trying to be the tribal chief. Then you win the Royal Rumble. So now Sami got this dilemma. It's like, man, I always want the main event WrestleMania, but I can't go against the bloodline. It's my family. These my dogs. Yeet.
You know what, bro? All BS aside, I think it should be Sami. Only because if the talk of selling the company boils down to it might get sold to the Saudis, Sami
is quitting.
He is quitting.
So he is walking on AEW TV with whatever WWE title he has. So the Saudis buy the WWE.
So you got to give him his moment before he's gone for good, because he earned it. He has carried Friday night for the last year and a half. You got to give it to him at that point.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate the character building. Yeah. You know who else I like? I'm digging this new version of Austin Theory.
You know what? Angry Austin works for me only because I feel like it's what he should have been anyway. Okay? Feel like it's what he should have been anyway. But of course, when Vince has creative control and when Tripp has creative control, we see things a little bit differently. I see a lot of NXT in the current WWE programming, and I ain't got no problem with it. Because my boy Gable's been eating. Okay. My boy Gable has yet to miss a Raw and damn near has yet to have a match all last year.
Hey,
after Triple H took over, Gable was always working. I think even Becky shushed. No, Bailey shushed Becky. That's what it was.
How you figure?
Oh, when she was coming down to do their segment and the crowd was talking, she was like, shush to the whole crowd.
Oh, yes. You got it. Man, that's how you know you over. Like, when you got other wrestlers that'll do your gimmick, you're over.
Well, Bailey has always been known to mimic her friends. Because when Finn Balor broke his leg in NXT,
she did his entrance.
She did his whole entrance for him.
Leather jacket and all. I mean, because you gotta love your friends, man. And at the end of the day, bro, like if I was a wrestler, I'm still a fan at heart. So like, we got time when the cameras cut off. Like, I'd be doing all kind of random shit.
I do all kind of random stuff. Speaking of NXT, so have you been watching it lately?
I have. I didn't watch yesterday's episode.
I didn't watch yesterday either. I was going to say that was going to be my road trip. That I was going to watch it then. Who's your favorite down in NXT right now?
Right now, my favorite probably Carmelo Hayes.
Okay. Carmelo and his boy, or just Melo by himself?
I don't mind Trick. Trick is like comedy relief, like because I feel like Melo is serious, and then Trick provides that. He's the laugh track, but when it's time to get it on, we can fight. But he's a funny guy.
Right.
I like Trick.
Like Carmelo is Tommy and Trick is like Cole.
Yeah. So I feel like if he does come up to the main roster, I feel like it needs to be a package deal. I mean, I won't be mad if they split them, but I feel like them two work well together because I don't really know what Trick can do by himself because he's only been associated with Melo.
And I'm glad you said that. So I did not know that NXT had a B show.
Yeah, I think it's called like Level Up.
Yep, it's called Level Up. So I was scrolling through Peacock the other day.
Do you watch the B show? I never checked it out.
I checked it out. It's literally a B show. It's Sunday Night Heat for NXT.
Oh, so the niggas that don't get the Tuesday airtime get this air. This is like dark match shows. Like
I'm guessing it's in the same arena because what's the little chick in Chase U?
I don't know her name, but I like her. She's so man. She be on go. She be on 10 all the time.
Dog, she had a match. Go time. She was Mojo Rawlins whole match.
Yeah, I like her. I like Chase U. Chase U is cool.
Yeah, I like Chase U. Do you think Chase U could work on the big brands?
On the main roster, no.
I don't think so either. Because I noticed something that I really never paid attention to with Chase U too often. They have a cheering section.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really pay attention to it because, I'll be watching the ring. I didn't pay attention to the corner. They have a cheering section. I can't see them doing that on the main roster unless you do like how Fandango. I'm not Fandango. What is his name?
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose have that they come down or they stay up on the ramp. So now you got a bunch of NXT developmental people just doing cheering and stuff. So now you got to pay these niggas to show up on TV. So I can see them doing it, but I don't think it'll get the same reaction. But when those Chase U shirts go on sale, my nigga, I'm getting one.
Facts.
Plus, I think they can get sued because they throw up the Miami U. And I don't know if that's copywritten.
I mean, Jay-Z sued Diamond Dallas Page, so you can sue people for about anything nowadays.
But who would sue from Miami, though?
I mean, they got bigger fish to fry. Like, I think they just got over, like, the death penalty. And then in college football, I believe the death penalty is when you cannot compete in bowl games for a certain amount of time. So they got bigger fish to fry. Like, that organization is the filthiest in college football.
I thought it was USC.
You thought UFC. Nah, all the cocaine guys went to the University of Miami. Any place that housed Michael Irvin, definitely cocaine fueled.
Bro, we're talking about the University of Southern California.
They ain't got shit on Miami, bro.
Bro, you know Hollywood is in Southern California, right?
I just feel like USC wasn't doing it the way the Hurricanes was doing
They may not have been doing it like the South. I mean, Florida is its own breed.
The Port of Miami, bro. Like, so you think they're getting cocaine in Hollywood? I mean, they getting it fresh from Cuba.
This is true. You can't get no pure in Cuba. But who do you think, so we can go ahead and wrap it up. Okay. Who do you think needs to go? They're on TV too much, and we're going to go ahead and close out tonight's show.
Hey, low-key, I know we happy that he came back, but I would be so glad if Bray Wyatt stopped getting as much airtime as he get.
I think what's happening, I have no problem with Bray Wyatt and the airtime. I think they need to move the story. I think the story is dragging too slow. I think that's what it is. I think if you don't focus only on converting Alexa Bliss at this moment, let's only focus on Alexa Bliss, and let's not make it a every week, because he's physically on SmackDown, but then Howdy pops up every once in a while on Raw as Bliss is turning. I don't think you need dual conversions. Let's
Now,
one at a time.
About Bray Wyatt before we change gears and get out of here. The story that he's doing with LA Knight, it's one of those things where it's like it would have been good for TV, or like if there was a short turnaround on a pay-per-view. Like you see how Bray came back in like October. He didn't really do much in November, but then we don't have a December pay-per-view.
Right.
So like you come back in October and then you start this thing with LA Knight that's going to culminate at the Royal Rumble. But if you started in December and the Royal Rumble pay-per-view is not until the end of January, because it's next week Saturday, not this week Saturday,
right,
that is like 12 weeks of TV all for nothing. And this storyline probably only deserved 4 weeks.
That's what happens.
Because it's to me, it's pointless, it's weird. It's like, and then you want to introduce a new match, which nobody knows what this is even about. And when WWE introduce a lot of concepts that don't nobody know what it's about, they suck.
Yeah.
Like, what's a pitch black match? Like, it can't have too many rules. Like, it can't be anything outside of a last man standing match, because then you can just call it that. Like, what are we doing?
Or a knockout match where somebody got to get knocked out. Either way it goes, it's terrible. If anything, and this is the one thing I always said about Bray, is make his matches cinematic. During the pandemic, the John Cena situation, it was good. I liked how it went. It really wasn't a match. It was more of a storytelling thing. That way, you don't have to take up ring time. You can go somewhere, record it, do it, air it on the pay-per-view that gives people a bathroom break if they don't want to see it, even in the arena. Okay? Come back, boom, we're refreshed, we good to go. Let's get to some serious shit. Bray Wyatt matches, until we are at the point where real wrestling needs to be done, should all be cinematic stuff. It should not be match. Now, to go, me personally, and I hate to say this, bro,
You better not say Sami Zayn.
Braun can go.
Everybody like, okay, I'm with you on that. He didn't need to come back.
And he did, but he's not the monster he used to be. He's not,
especially because he out here wearing skinny jeans.
Right. You're not the person you used to be. Therefore, you're not the threat that you used to be. And it doesn't mesh with me. Like, 1 week you're paired with this person, next week you're going one-on-one. You fought Umos. Both of you niggas went off TV for a while. He's back now. We don't know what's going on there. Hopefully it's better. At the end of the day, he needs to go. And on that note, we are going to go ahead and close out tonight's show because we need to go. Make sure you check us out on all streaming platforms. That's Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you check out the Death Fresh Show live. We will be back in the studio next week. But
next week is Royal Rumble, so we're doing an early show. Cool.
You off that day?
I'm off that weekend.
We might do an early show then. With that being said, people, also make sure you check out Hostly Awkward live every Sunday night at 8:30-ish. Juan will be there this week. I won't. But with that being said, people, we are out of here. Peace. And where did my mouse go? All right, bro. Hit the road. I'll holler at you.